Disclaimer: this video contains spoilers for Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. If you don't want any spoilers, please don't watch this video and go read the manga or watch the anime first. Now that we're clear on that, let's begin the video. Hey y'all, this is Zambararu, and so this video is going to be a very big, deep discussion from a writer's point of view about a character from a series that was widely popular like back in the early 2000s from what I remember. Well, the manga first started like in 1999 and then the anime didn't come around until 2002, if you guys want to know about that. But anyway, this anime series actually, this character that I'm going to be talking about from the anime series is called Sakura Haruno, and she's from this series called Naruto. And I'm pretty sure most of you already know who she is and know what the series is about because the series is pretty much about a decade old. And, well, let's just say this is going to be a very interesting discussion that I will bring to you guys about why Sakura Haruno is a bad, like, not a bad character basically, but the romance part about her is considered to be the biggest controversial part of the series that has been pretty much a big issue ever since it first started, like back when around she was first introduced and when we first met her and Sasuke in episode 3. And I think in the manga, I think it was volume 3 or 2. It was one of them. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, I will begin this discussion on about 3 different parts. And the first one will be part 1 Sakura, the one when she was 12 years old. And then I'll start with part 2 during the time when she turned, I think 14 or 15, one of them. And then I will talk about her backstory as well. So this is going to be split into 3 parts. So first, let's begin with her part 1 version, aka Naruto. Alright, so Sakura did make her first debut back in episode 1, but she didn't play a major role. She pretty much was just like a minor character in that episode along with Sasuke, and we didn't really see a full character point of her until around episode 3, who we learn and realize that she's going to be a part of the main cast along with Sasuke. And in that episode, her attitude was pretty distasteful. Like she was really mean and aggressive towards Ino, and Ino was too towards her. Like she was all lovey-dovey and googly eyes and hard eyes towards Sasuke, but around Naruto, she's like very rude and loud and aggressive and very like mean to him, basically. But the moment that really made people hate Sakura was the moment when she made fun of Naruto for not having any parents, but yet the boy she liked doesn't have any parents either. Sasuke was obviously ticked off at that moment at her because the fact that she made fun of Naruto for being an orphan, Sasuke can actually relate because he doesn't have any parents either. And so he rightfully calls her annoying, but the thing that I wish that he did also was tell her that he was an orphan too. If he honestly would have told her that, then maybe it would have made her realize that what she said was wrong and that she actually apologized to Sasuke and to Naruto for actually acting that way and promises to never do it again. We could have seen her bonded more with Naruto, like in a much more like a friendly way instead of like too aggressive like how she usually is. It honestly would have worked, but sadly it didn't happen because the next moment when Sasuke is gone and when she sees Naruto again, she calls him an idiot, which kind of throws back everything she said about the next time she sees Naruto, that she's going to be nicer to him, but she didn't. So that moment was pretty much a missed opportunity for her to like bond a bit more with Naruto. And so enough about that. We'll go to the next one. So in the next episode, we are introduced to their sensei, Kakashi, and for the first time we see Team 7 forming together, and this is when we as the audience listen to what their goals and what their dreams what they want and stuff. So Kakashi asked them like what is their goals, like what do they want in life. Naruto basically said that he wanted to become Hokage. Sasuke said is to K-word a certain someone, which honestly does make them two pretty interesting. But when it came to Sakura, she didn't really give a direct answer of what she wanted, like out of life. The only thing she said was basically the two boys in her team. Like she said what she liked. She looks over at Sasuke's area, so basically all of the answers from what she liked and her hobbies and everything was Sasuke. But then she admitted that what she hated was Naruto. And then Kakashi said that girls her age are more interested in boys than in ninja training, which honestly sounds a little bit sexist to me, but that's just me though. So the thing that is a problem with this is the fact that we find Naruto and Sasuke's goals quite interesting because Naruto wanted to gain respect and admiration from the people in his village. Sasuke wants to reclaim his clan and make good use for, like, his future and stuff. Like, basically getting rid of the person who made his life, like, at a young age, pretty difficult. But as for Sakura, all she wanted was just a boy. That's all she wanted, just a boy. And so that honestly makes it very difficult to follow up with her. And it honestly makes her sound pretty shallow. It's like, yes, she's 12 years old, but even 12-year-olds have their goals and not just focus on like their love interests. So yeah, that was that one issue with Sakura's character is that she has no goals other than just to be with Sasuke and hating Naruto, which was pretty weird because she said she was going to be nicer to Naruto in the previous episode, but in this episode she admitted that she hates him. So the next interesting part when it came to like them training for the first time, like during the bell test with their sensei Kakashi. So the thing is, Naruto he gave his all, like doing it all on his own, and let's just say he wasn't really like too good at it because he was outsmarted by Kakashi. Sasuke himself almost gave him like a good hand-to-hand combat, but he was outsmarted by him by his trap. But Sakura, she really did not do anything useful. All she did was faint. Like, she was supposed to be like a smart character, but the fact that she fell for that trap real easily, it made her look dumb. She didn't faint once, she fainted twice. Twice during the battle, and that's a problem when it comes to being on the field because that will leave her wide open. And what do I mean by wide open? Is that they're training for the first time to be ninjas, and the fact that she did that proved that she's like gonna be an obstacle, like an extra weight and obstacle that will slow Naruto and Sasuke down. Like pretty much instead of like being like the actual part of the team, like basically being like an actual teammate, she's basically like the obstacle. She'll be like an obstacle who'll be like in the way, of course. So after the bell test, I can't really say too much of what Sakura does during the first arc because she didn't really do anything too major there. She pretty much was just there majority of the time, like pretty much just holding the kunai knife and mostly guarding the person who they were trying to help return to the village. I forgot his name because I don't really pay that much attention to the minor character names. But anyway, so she pretty much just didn't do anything like too major or too plot heavy within the first arc. So yeah, she pretty much is just there, which is why a lot of people say that she's useless. But the thing is that I kind of wish she did play like a big part of the role within the first arc to show that she actually is using the power of her intelligence to actually help Naruto and Sasuke and Kakashi like with the combat heavy situation. Like she could pretty much be like that intellect strategist of the group, but sadly it didn't happen. But anyway, so the next arc in the story is everyone's favorite arc, the Chunin exams arc. So this is when we're introduced to pretty much all the other characters who will play a role like in this part of the arc, including Sakura's rival Ino, who is a part of Team 10 with Shikamaru and Shoji. And so the one thing that kind of bothered me, like from the beginning of this arc, was the fact that when Naruto and Sasuke see each other again, and they're acting quite aggressive towards each other. And that left me confused into thinking that maybe I was missing a scene and maybe something happened because in the first arc, it seemed like Naruto and Sasuke were getting along quite a bit better. But the fact that they were like really, really aggressive towards each other, like out of nowhere in this arc, after Sasuke pretty much almost died, it left a weird, confusing look on my face, and I was like, "What's going on? Did I miss a scene or two?" But it turns out I didn't. That's actually what happened. And Sakura mentioned that their rivalry was worse than before, which did left me super confused as to why they hate each other at the moment. But anyway, we are introduced to, well, let's say Konohamaru and his group, and well, actually, before that, Sasuke and Naruto were having a bit of an arguing moment, and Sakura threatened to hit Naruto, which was kind of weird because she should have threatened both of them to stop arguing before she knocks some sense into both of them to get away to, like, to get them to stop arguing, but she didn't do that. She just threatened Naruto, only Naruto, and didn't threaten Sasuke at all, which was very weird. But anyway, she asked Sasuke if they could train together, but Sasuke told her that Sakura's skills were way worse than Naruto, which was a major ouch moment. And that put her in such a really, really bad mood to the point where she actually took her anger and frustrations out on Naruto and Konohamaru and the other two kids, which was very, not a way to control your anger. Like, instead of her taking her frustration out on Sasuke, who was the one who told her that her skills were worse than Naruto's, instead she took her anger out on Naruto, who absolutely had nothing to do, like what was going on with the conversation between them two, because she actually walked away from Naruto the moment when he was about to ask her to train with him, but she ignored him in order to try to get closer to Sasuke, which honestly was very rude, I gotta admit. So despite that questionable action, they do meet Gara, Tamari, and what's his name? Is it Kankuro? I don't remember, but anyway. So they enter inside the Chunin exams, and oh my God, Kakashi, I have some major questions for you about that entering them into the Chunin exams. Is that Naruto and Sakura were not completely ready to be like in that situation because we see later on that Sakura was not combat ready. Naruto wasn't like really intellectual enough to like help out his teammates, and the only one who actually helped out with everything and you can depend on was Sasuke. So basically, Kakashi put these two unprepared teammates into the Chunin exams, but the only one who actually was prepared was Sasuke, which was very weird. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm gonna say that for the Kakashi video in the future. So once they enter inside the Chunin exams, we see Ino for like a while. The last time we saw her was when they were doing that whole team up thing, like trying to count all the teammates, like who's gonna be team up with who. And Ino, at that moment, she was so happy to see Sasuke and hugging him, and he looks aggravated and agitated, as you see in this image right here. And Sakura is telling Ino to get off of him, which of course sounds like that annoying "get your hands off my quote unquote boyfriend," even though he's not my boyfriend, he's just a teenage. It would have been better if she would have said, "Get your hands off my teammate and go back to your own team," but she didn't say that. And speaking of Sakura and Ino, I will get to them once I get to the point when when they get to their fighting match. And so we are introduced to everyone here, like pretty much everyone to do the Chunin exams. And so they were told that each team member has to answer the questions correctly because if one doesn't pass or if they get caught cheating, then all of the teammates will fail, which honestly puts a lot of edge on Naruto because this was his weakness. And let's just say the written exam, I have a huge question as to how Naruto passed because he didn't answer any of the questions. But anyway, main character syndrome. But anyway, so the Forest of Death, this is actually the first time where we actually see Sakura about to have some character development. Because at this moment, Naruto and Sasuke, like after they had a huge fight with Orochimaru, which did make them pass out, like with Sasuke having a curse mark and Naruto being exhausted and stuff. And when both of them were passed out, Sakura was pretty much the only one who has to keep an eye on them and make sure nothing bad happens to them. And this honestly was an interesting moment for her because since both of her teammates are knocked out, she's the only one left to keep an lookout for danger and stuff. And it honestly would have gave like a big opportunity for her to come up with her intellects and using like, her intellect strategy to try to protect them and keep them safe from danger. But the thing that got in the way was the fact that, well, she of course was not combat ready because, she didn't have any time to like train before entering the Chunin exams. So the thing that made it a big issue was the fact that well, actually, she did do a smart thing with using a trap, but since those ninjas are like, a bit more experienced with combat, they were able to avoid that. And then, Rock Lee came in and then did this and that and blah, blah, blah. Speaking of Rock Lee, his crush on Sakura was pretty cringe, I gotta admit. But the one issue that I will talk about is the fact that Sakura the whole time she was walking around with her hair like down because her hair is like long and stuff. Like instead of tying it up so it won't be in the way, it actually got grabbed by that female ninja, which honestly left her vulnerable to be attacked because they did say long hair is a big like vulnerable spot for some people to catch them and to beat them and stuff. So Sakura at that moment, she started to believe that she was pretty useless at the moment because she couldn't do anything at the moment since that female ninja caught her by her hair. And she actually told Sakura that she spent a lot more time on her hair instead of like focusing on training, which honestly did prove that that's why she was completely unprepared because she was more too focused on her looks and trying to impress Sasuke instead of like training like real seriously. And look at her now, fully in the hands of the female ninja who's grabbing her hair. And so at that moment, she did do pretty much a smart thing by cutting off her hair and leaving it short so she can show that she's starting a new beginning for herself and it's not going to be like that weak little girl anymore who's going to rely on Sasuke and Naruto for everything. She did okay, like pretty much like fighting on her own and stuff, like using her intellect to like combat against these ninjas. But the one thing that took it down was the fact that she bit the ninja on the arm while he was like repeatedly punching her head again and again and again, which I'm surprised she didn't get a headache from. So at that moment, maybe he could have kicked her off and, that would have been like a good end to the fight. And then Ino and her team would have showed up and, do their usual stuff. But I will admit though, the moment when Sasuke woke up and was out of control because of his curse mark, I gotta admit the moment that she hugged him to calm him down was actually pretty sweet and showed like an actual genuine care for like Sasuke's well-being other than him just being like, the pretty boy that she liked. Which honestly, yeah, But the moment that was a bit distasteful was the fact that when Ino and Sakura like, had a little bonding moment with Ino trying to fix Sakura's hair after she cut it. She insulted her about like the fact that she was hugging Sasuke, but instead of her being kind about it and saying that it's only for a friend or it's only for a teammate, instead she barked back and did an insult and called her Pig, which was like, oh God, we're back to square one again, and I thought you would change. Alright, so next is the infamous Sakura versus Ino fight. Oh, where do I begin? Okay, so this part of the story was completely frustrating for me because of the fact that the reason why Sakura and Ino became rivals is because they both had the same crush on a boy, and that boy was Sasuke. And honestly, that is very, very, very weird about the fact that they just ended their friendship over a boy because the usual girl code is that you never let your crush or your boyfriend or whoever it is that you're dating get in the way of your friendship. And at first I thought it was Ino who ended their friendship because Ino has the personality of like that popular girl, like the popular mean girl. And Sakura had like that personality of being like that, that very intelligent girl with a bit of a hot temper in her. But the fact that they both ended their friendship, well, actually, Sakura ended the friendship, it honestly makes Sakura come off as like very shallow and selfish with the fact that she did that to Ino. Because honestly, Ino didn't want to end her friendship with her because of Sasuke, but Sakura did, which did left frustrated. And you can understand why she calls her nicknames like Billboard Brow and why she's mean to her and this and that, because Sakura was the one who ended their friendship, which did cause them to fight a lot. And so it's very weird about the fact that Sakura ended her friendship with Ino, but yet all of the other girls who they were in class with, except Hinata, had a crush on Sasuke. And so that rivalry was a bit bizarre. But I will give my honest take as to why do all these girls like Sasuke? It makes you wonder, why do they like him in the first place? And plus Sasuke has shown no romantic or sexual interest in anyone for that matter. He kind of gives me like Arrow Ace vibes. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Sasuke turned out to be Arrow Ace because that honestly would explain why he showed no interest in anyone. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So about this Sakura and Ino fight, from the looks of the fights, the other fights, they're a lot more faster paced, a lot more intense, and have you on edge. But Sakura and Ino's, they were very slow, heavy, and felt like it would take like a long time for them to finish fighting. And the fact that Sakura is like not as experienced when it comes to like fighting and combat, that does explain why her hits are very slow and heavy. And same goes to Ino's. Like they both were considered to be like the weakest out of everyone in their team. And it's honestly disappointing that Sakura didn't have enough time to train because she was more focused on her looks and trying to impress Sasuke, but what can you do? But anyway, so the thing that happened in this fight is it was a lot slower too because of the fact that everybody was like talking in their head. Pretty much everybody was talking. Sakura and Ino was just standing there talking, 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 and not really like throwing hands at each other. But Sakura did that one shadow clone jutsu, which honestly was kind of smart that she did outsmarted Ino like that. But the fact that she didn't do anything else after that, it's led to like disappointment. And then flashbacks, they really, really slowed the scenes down. Like really. But here's the thing as to how they could actually use the flashbacks. They should have used the flashbacks like at the beginning and at the end to show like the importance of Sakura and Ino's like past friendship and bond and stuff. But the fact that it kept interrupting the fight, it honestly made the fight like a lot more slower paced and felt like a bit of a waste of time, which honestly did got a bit annoying and aggravating. And the fact that I will admit though, this one thing that Ten Ten said when she said just because they're girls, that honestly just made me facepalm because it's like, why you have to point out that they're girls? Like why? Who cares if what their gender is? The fact that you can create any character and make them do anything who happens to be a male or female character, but the fact that they pointed out that they're girls, it's like, really? But the part that Ino cut her hair and created like a little trap for Sakura to trap her in, it made me question Sakura's intelligence because she was said to be a smart character, but the fact that she falls for traps, it kind of makes you wonder, huh? But you know what, whatever. But the thing that people did say that Ino should have won because she almost made Sakura like quit, but the fact that Naruto said something was snapped Ino out of like Sakura's like mind transfer and the inner Sakura thing, that was a bit oppressive, but it was also kind of BS at the same time. But all I have to say about the Sakura and Ino fight is that this fight could have been a lot better. It could have been a bit more intense, a bit more impactful. But the fact that it actually shows that the creator may possibly have no idea like what to do with the female characters and probably didn't care like what they would do and what part of the impact they have in the story. It's pretty sad, like really sad. But anyway. The match ended with a draw, which did leave Sakura and Ino not be able to continue the exams along with their other teammates. And Sakura and Ino, they did have a moment where they did bond for a little bit, and it seems like they were about to slightly get better, but they still need a lot to work on. And I kind of wish that Sakura actually did apologize for losing her friendship with Ino because of Sasuke, because that was selfish. I think the one thing about Sakura's character is that there's no such thing as apologies when it comes to her. Like, I don't think she's the type of girl who would apologize. Like, let's say if anything happens, and even if she's at fault for it, she would not apologize. She would yell at you and admit that it's your fault. So a major ouch to her and Nino's characters. But anyway, next point. So after the rest of the Chunin exam, Sakura didn't really play like a major role because she's pretty much got like eliminated from the match due to her tie with Ino. But I will admit though, while she was in the background, I noticed that she showed a bit more of a kinder and more gentle side and much more friendly approach when she was around Rock Lee and Ino to a degree. Because I noticed that whenever she's not around Sasuke or Naruto, she seems more like herself. Because when she's around Sasuke, she's all lovey-dovey, hard eyes. But then when she's around Naruto, she's mean and loud and aggressive. But when she was around other people, she's more like herself, like she's more gentle, more kind, and more approachable, more friendlier, which honestly was pretty interesting. And the fact that she brought Rock Lee flowers was pretty sweet of her. So for that, I do give her major props for. And the part where she did try to protect Sasuke from Gaara, that was pretty brave of her. So yeah, she does become a damsel in distress at that part, but after Naruto saved her, the weird thing is that instead of her thanking Naruto, she went up to Sasuke and thanked him. But Sasuke was like, I did not save you, Naruto did. And she was like, no, there's no way that could be Naruto. Which honestly was, a major ouch because it seems like she don't believe that Naruto can do anything for her. But he did rescue her, but in her eyes, she wanted it to be Sasuke, which was a bit of a downfall part to her character from there. So I'm gonna skip the search for Tsunade arc because Sakura didn't play a role in that arc at all. But in the Sasuke retrieval arc, here is when she took a back step into like asking Naruto to bring Sasuke back to the village because as he was leaving the village, he was leaving to go like train with Orochimaru, and Sakura begged him to take her with him, but the problem is that she's gonna leave her friends and family behind just to follow behind the boy who she had a crush on since, well, since the day she met him. And Sasuke's response to that was, "You're annoying," just like how he called her before during that time when she made fun of Naruto for not having any parents. And the thing is that when he said thank you to her, it wasn't romantic. It was more like a friendly way of saying like thanks for everything and thanks for being my teammate and for being there for me. But now things have changed. So even though she was pretty heartbroken about the fact that Naruto failed to bring Sasuke back after he promised her that he will in fact bring Sasuke back, the thing that was interesting about her is that she decided to train with Tsunade to get stronger, which I gotta admit, that is a big step for her character, but I kind of did wish that she did train before, because before she didn't train at all. So overall, Sakura in part one. What I gotta say about part one Sakura romance-wise is that she was not a good romance like plot, like at all. And I forgot to mention that earlier on that Naruto does have a crush on her, but the thing is that she ignored him and didn't want anything to do with his romantic gestures, and she only showed her romantic feelings towards Sasuke, who showed like no romantic interest in her at all. And so Sakura in part one with the romance plot, that's actually pretty bad. Like, I know it's like a first step, but it was not very good. It honestly was pretty bad to say the least, because the fact that it seemed like she was made to be Naruto's love interest, but the fact that she gave him like no respect and no like attention or anything like that regarding his feelings, instead of kindly saying I'm not interested, instead she just yelled at him and got like really mean and aggressive towards him, which honestly was ugh. It honestly makes her pretty distasteful for a love interest. There is, in fact, a right way to like write a love romantic plot for like a character, because when you do it like this, it's actually not right because it makes you wonder why does this person like that person in the first place, even though they treated them like trash and like someone else. Because honestly, it's not a good romantic subplot. Like it's not. No. So Sakura overall in part one is okay, but She could have been written better. Her personality needed work, and she needed better, approachable personality when it comes to interacting with her teammates because her interaction with the teammates were not very good. It was not. And she needed more of a reason as to why she likes Sasuke other than him just being like the pretty boy because that honestly makes it pretty shallow. Like, yes, I guess she's 12 years old, but even 12-year-olds have a reason as to why they like their crush. So yeah, the romantic subplot with Sakura was not very good in part one. But now we're gonna begin with part two. So 2 years later is Naruto Shippuden, where they are now, let's see, 14 to 15 years old. And so here, Naruto and Sakura meet each other again after 2 years. And let's just say the moment once they meet each other again, it honestly was like kind of a cute reunion because they haven't seen each other in a while, and the fact that they still treat each other like buddy buddy is still adorable. But the thing that's still pretty weird is that Sakura's aggressiveness towards Naruto is still there. Like it's the exact same aggressiveness that she had towards him since they were 12 years old. And I thought it improved a bit, but it seems like nope, it's still there. Like for example, we have here that some moments between Naruto and Sakura are pretty genuine and sweet and very very, very sweet, to say the least. Like, there are times where they be, like, getting along really well, becoming, like, real buddy buddies, and it almost seems like there's some bit of a romantic connection about to come in, because we see that Naruto, he still gets all pretty red in the face when he's around her, and it seems like there are times where Sakura does be flirting with him, but of course, there's one issue, and that is the fact that the beatings, it's still there, and the yelling and the aggressiveness, it's still there. And the fact that she did this when they were 12 years old, and then they're still doing this at the age of 14 or 15 years old. It honestly makes their relationship kind of toxic to the point where you don't want him to end up with her because she'll end up doing the beating. Because there are times where it seems like she just hits him over anything. And they used to say, don't end up in relationships like this where the guy or girl will like just beat you all the time. And it's not healthy. It's very toxic, like very, very toxic. So throughout most of part two, Naruto and Sakura did seem like they were getting along a bit better than how they used to when they were 12 years old. They actually had genuine moments when they were actually like best friends or like sibling like very close. And of course, she did have moments when Naruto did get red in the face around her, and Sakura having her moments where she does mess with him or even gets a little frustrated with his flirting antics, such as rejecting him whenever he asks her out. And it kind of seemed like there was some romantic connection about to come across between the two. But of course, it didn't last long because of how Sakura's like still very aggressive and mean towards him, just like how she was back in part one, which honestly was not gonna change. And the fact that she confessed to him one time and he straight up rejected her, it proved that Naruto may have possibly noticed that her feelings for Sasuke are still there and that she's not gonna feel the same way about him like how he is with her. And that honestly would have been a good moment for him to end his crush on Sakura, but then the next moment he acts like he's still interested in her, which kind of ruins the moment. That really sucks. So Naruto and Sakura, they're okay, but it could have been better, and plus the violence and the beatings is very toxic in their relationship and it's not good. So yeah, those two needed work. And so next up is Sasuke and Sakura's quote unquote relationship in part two. Where do I begin? The relationship between Sasuke and Sakura in part two is 10 times more toxic than Sakura's relationship with Naruto. It's the fact that Sasuke has gone completely rogue and is completely destroying lives and destroying the village. And the fact that it seemed like Sakura was trying to stop him, but the fact that she still had those feelings for Sasuke, like the same feelings that she had on him ever since they were 12 years old. And the crazy part is he almost K-word her twice and she still hold on to those feelings, which honestly is not good and sends a very bad message for the romantic, like, connection, because it's honestly it's bad, like it's really bad because why would you still have feelings for somebody who tried to K-word you and showed you like no affection or anything like that? And the crazy part is that she during the middle of a war, she was also concerned about the fact that Sasuke didn't show like any concern for her when she was hurt, like at one point during the battle in during the war. And the question is, why is that on her mind at the moment when they're in war right now? Because the war is the life and death situation, and the fact that she's all worried about what some guy thinks of her, the same guy who she had a crush on since she was 12 years old, it honestly makes her come across as like quite shallow and selfish, like during a war situation. And it's not a good look on her part. Like, it's not. It honestly makes her very shallow and selfish, and that's really bad for her. Not to mention, she did confess her feelings to Sasuke again, but Sasuke's response to her was that she's still annoying, and then he knocked her out during the Genjutsu, which honestly is weird because she was supposed to be immune to Genjutsu, but I guess they forgot about that. But the fact that he said that he has no reason to love her and doesn't get why she loves him even after all this time, which honestly he is correct about that because the fact that she still had feelings for him even though he showed like no romantic feelings towards her, it honestly makes you feel very concerned about Sakura's well-being. Well, sort of in a way. And it seemed like Sasuke was the only one in Team 7 who possibly had common sense because he was actually saying stuff that actually made sense. And man, those two are toxic as heck. But oddly enough, if you guys are wondering, this is a big spoiler. Well, I already did spoil most of it, but if you guys don't care, then I'll tell you. After everything that Sasuke put her through, they ended up together and they ended up getting married and having a child.
Hey, yo, what the fuck? That's stupid!
And that's what Sasuke and Sakura as one of the top 10 worst anime couples in history. And they are pretty infamous for that type of relationship, like a very, very toxic relationship. Naruto's and Sakura's was toxic too, but nowhere near as toxic as Sasuke and Sakura's were. And so that explains why Sakura is not a good romantic love interest for either Naruto or Sasuke, because everything that she's done throughout the entire series was either toxic or selfish or aggressive or anything like that. And she be too well, not dismissive, submissive around Sasuke, even though he's been showing like very bad behavior towards her, and she doesn't do anything about it. Because when Naruto does something bad, she says something about it, but then when Sasuke does something bad, she does nothing about it. And that is really bad. And she's also wasted potential for improving her act and improving as a character. She may have improved in strength, but her emotions are still the same. And so Sakura Haruno is the perfect example of what you should not do when it comes to romantic subplot, and that she could have been better, but since the creator did say that he didn't know how to write female characters, that honestly adds an issue. And well, at least luckily, I hope we don't have any more female characters like that in the future. Because it seems like the female characters, they're improving, but they still have some issues when it comes to the romantic subplot. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's actually one of my longest videos that I've ever done, and maybe possibly in future I may make longer videos like this, but who knows? Maybe in the future. I hope you guys have a lovely day or afternoon or evening or whichever timeline you guys live in. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See y'all later. Oh, and before I go, have you guys noticed that I didn't mention Hinata at all? Well, it's because Hinata is a supporting character and Sakura is the main character, and this video was about Sakura, not about Hinata or Sakura's like romance, Naruto and Sasuke, you know? But this was about Sakura's like difficulty and pretty bad placement when it comes to romance. But I hope you guys learned something from this video, and maybe possibly in a video I will make like another video about like bad romance and good romance and possibly some good improvement and stuff. and help out for those future writers who wants to write something romantic based, or they're like writing a romantic subplot. I'll create like a video to show you guys what to do and what not to do. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy your day or evening or afternoon. See y'all later.